afternoon, everyone. It's Alissa Coram here, and welcome to Stock Market Today. We've got the breakdown of all the market action for you on this Thursday, December 5th. And here to shed light on everything that active traders need to know about today's action is my colleague, Ken Shreve. Ken, great to see you as always.
You too, Ali. Yeah, mild losses for at least the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 today. Dow and small caps lagged a little bit, but we got three stocks as usual to talk about. Fiserv, fintech was in the news today. Ticker FI. Also want to take a look at Veracyte, VCYT in the healthcare space, and then Heico in the aerospace defense group HWM.
Heico, HEI,
Oh,
right?
HEI. My mistake. Yeah, not Howmet.
Yeah.
Heiko.
Yeah, there
HEI.
you go. Perfect. Keeping me on my toes. All right. Well, we will take a look at those stocks, but first, let's analyze the major indexes slightly lower across the board for the day, and small caps, as you mentioned, Ken, lagging. We'll take a look at that shortly. But the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq here down about 0.2% for the day. But I mean, it's been a pretty strong week overall, so you can't complain too much. So little mini downside reversals off highs for both the Nasdaq and S&P 500. Here's a look at the Dow, down about 0.6% on the day. And then the Russell 2000 was down 1.1%. So back below the 2,400 level, or closing, it looks like just right around that level. Ken, your thoughts on the action today?
Well, Russell 2000 is the only index that's below its 10-day moving average. I think the rest of the market looks fine. We were talking, I mean, the Russell had those recent explosive up days, 5, 6 days in a row, and it's just consolidating a little bit here. So, not a big deal. If you look at the Nasdaq and the S&P 500, we were talking about a huge move over the past 2 weeks for the Nasdaq. So it's at a point where, it's not super extended from its 50-day moving average on the daily chart, but it's at a point where you want to start thinking about the possibility of some pullback. But volume was heavy today. It was very heavy yesterday. Probably avoided a distribution day on the Nasdaq because the decline was less than 0.2%. So pretty orderly action. Had some nice gains early that faded. So a lot of stocks ended up looking like the Nasdaq Composite. But really, we're still in a nice year-end rally here.
Yeah, we are. And a quick look at the Dow, Ken. It's just holding near highs.
Yeah, same situation. Again, the Russell's the only one that is below that short-term support level, the 10-day. The Dow Jones is getting close to a test there. But again, a big move over the past couple of weeks. So a little bit of consolidation here will not only allow the indexes, but a lot of these individual stocks to take a little breather because the story in the market right now is just a lot of stocks that are out of position.
Yeah.
So you got to be really careful with your new buys and making sure you're not chasing performance. So if we get a little pullback here, hopefully a mild one that could set the stage for some new buy opportunities. So, not too bad a day at all today. Of course, we've got this big jobs report
Yeah.
tomorrow. Job growth in October was very weak. I think it was only 12 or 13,000 jobs, but that was mostly, due to Hurricane Milton and the destruction it caused. But we'll see what the jobs report says tomorrow. Could be a market mover. Could see some movement in that 10-year Treasury yield. We could see the market up or down. We'll see how
Mhm.
the market reacts. But non-farm payroll is expected to be up about 200,000. So.
Right. Yep. It looks like the 10-year yield here still at a key inflection point. Could that change tomorrow on the economic news? We'll have to see. And to your point, Ken, in terms of it being a market mover, the last considerable downdraft that we had in mid-November, I believe that also was economic news related, was it not?
I believe that was the jobs report. I can't be
Yeah,
sure,
I think
but
it was.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But again, that was the October employment report was a bit of a one-off just because of they did that the
Hurricane.
survey when the hurricane had
Yeah.
happened and a lot of people were out of work. So we should get back to normal tomorrow, and it's really hard to it's really hard to say at this point what the market what the market wants. Does it want really
Mm,
robust job growth of 250, 300,000? Does it want a Goldilocks number right around 200,000? Well, we'll have to see, but good chance we'll see some movement in that 10-year yield. It's kind of right at a key support level right
yeah.
now, around 4.17%. So we'll see.
Okay, could be an exciting day. We'll have to see. And then, Ken, today was the first regular session after Bitcoin hit a key milestone of $100,000 per coin. That happened overnight. And of course, that generating a lot of mainstream headlines and a lot of interest. But here's a look at the IBIT ETF. Full disclosure, I do own a stake in this, reversing slightly lower on the day. I believe it was up more than 3% early on in the day, but backing off of that level by the close, Ken.
Yeah, kind of a tough day. I mean, not a disaster for Bitcoin longs, but there were definitely some people that probably nibbled at IBIT here when it broke out over last week's highs. We were actually looking at another Bitcoin ETF, BITO. Which is actually, well, it was looking like it was actionable after a 6 7 day pullback, and you can see BITO did the same thing that IBIT did. It tried to come up close to that a buy point, but it reversed lower. So we held off, but certainly a noteworthy day for Bitcoin today. But that
Mhm.
initial enthusiasm when it ran over the 100,000 mark, yeah, kind of faded to a thud by the close. But we'll see. Just
Mhm.
a reversal and a lot of Bitcoin stocks. Coinbase was another one that really reversed lower. Another Bitcoin
Yeah.
play. So a lot of these charts look the same.
hmm And as for Bitcoin itself, I'm seeing the current price is hovering around 99,429. So it too backed off of that six-figure mark. So we'll have to see if there's going to be some continued resistance at that round number, or if it can blast through and continue to get momentum there. We look at round numbers a lot when we're talking about stocks or equity indexes. So who knows? We'll have to see for crypto how this reacts. But you're right, a disappointing day for those who thought that once it crossed $100,000 that it was going to stay there. So
Yeah, yeah.
not.
It's it was just a disappointing price action, but the uptrend is not over by any means in Bitcoin. So, um,
Yeah.
but everybody was looking at that 100,000 level, and couldn't hold it. But there's still a lot of optimism that Bitcoin is going to be around for a long time, and a lot of people thinking that because there's such a limited supply of them, that the whole supply demand scenario, could keep Bitcoin prices high for a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to see if that resistance eventually becomes support, if it can find a home above 10,000. We'll have to see. All right. And moving on, Ken, let's now take a look at ticker FI in the news today. As you mentioned, fill us in.
Well, yeah, it was interesting because the CEO of this company, his name is Frank Bisignano. He was tapped by President-elect Trump to lead the Social Security Administration, and I think this is an interesting stock to look at because we look at a stock like this as leaderboard material. It's been a tremendous mover since that initial breakout over the 160 165 level. Now you see the stock coming down to the 50-day moving average for pretty much the first time, and it's a pretty good test going on right now. I'd be really interested to see when I see a stock finding support like this. I'm also going to look at the weekly chart, and for tomorrow, if we do get a positive, reaction by the market to the jobs report, maybe we'll see Fiserv lift off lows on the weekly chart here. Because when I look at the weekly, uh, support at the 10-week line is still in question here, right? It's kind of testing the line, hasn't made a convincing bounce yet. So if we get a market rally tomorrow and Fiserv lifts off lows, and that weekly chart gives me a close in the middle half, even the top half of the week's range, that would be a pretty good sign that the stock is finding support, and would be a buy signal for some people for sure. Multiple up weeks in a row here with pretty good volume. This one still has the potential to be a leader. We just need to see if support holds here at the 10-week moving average.
Right. I totally agree. What happens tomorrow is going to be critical for the health of the chart here, especially on the weekly, because if it closes here for the week, Ken, with that elevated volume, this looks like a character change since that breakout. You've seen just this steady eddy uptrend so many weeks up in a row. So that's not to say that it can't have a down week, but it's what does that down week look like? This kind of down week so far signals that the stock might enter base building mode. But you're right. If
My,
it
eh,
have
yeah,
a convincing
exactly.
bounce, that would be good.
Exactly right, but that's again how you want to use your moving averages to see if a stock is truly finding support. Again, back to the daily chart, looking at Fiserv, it did close off lows and held support, so it made a pretty good stand at the 50-day today. But again, going back to the weekly chart, definitely want to see a close well off lows by the end of the day tomorrow. If that happens, I think longs can feel comfortable about their position. If support doesn't hold, you're right. It's probably just ready to build a new base, and you just want to wait and see how that base shapes up. But could see another entry, but definitely a real strong performer in the financial sector here.
Let's check out VCYT. This is in the medical research group. We've got a rare ascending base, Ken, that the stock broke out of last week, and it's still holding in the buy zone.
Yeah, very interesting company here. This is basically a diagnostics company that helps doctors, clinicians diagnose and treat various forms of cancer. So you can see that the fundamentals are very, very solid here. Still holding near that 41-43 entry. So I like the strength and support the stock is showing. And if you look at the fundamentals here, there's quite a compelling growth story. A lot of you can see the top line growth has picked up the pace in recent quarters, and the earnings increases. You got that earnings line that's starting to swing in a nice uptrend. It's made a really, really strong move, but I think that again that buy point just over 41 is still actionable, even after two big weeks of weekly gains. So you can see the stock really hasn't moved much at all this week. So still showing strength and support, and fundamentals look pretty good here.
And I think especially impressive as the overall medical sector has not been an area of leadership in the last month or so, but this one bucking that weakness, no doubt.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was also looking on the homepage of investors.com just maybe a half an hour ago, and I saw one of the writers writing about a company called Grail, GRAL is the symbol here. It's not in the same industry group as GRAL. There it is. Yeah. And this one had a really, really nice breakout today. And it's kind of in a similar business because this company analyzes DNA from blood samples to detect early forms of cancer. So two kind of cancer detection firms here,
Mhm.
different products, different industry groups, but two pretty strong performers here with good top line growth. They're both obviously seeing a lot of demand for their services.
Yeah, very impressive action here. Okay, and then we want to round things out with a look at HEI. Is that right, Ken? Heico?
Yeah, Heico. Not
Let's
to
do
be
it.
not HDI. I think I had that put the ticker right in the script, but we may want to double check that. HEI is the symbol
Yeah.
here, and I should know that because this is in the leaderboard model portfolio. But it's a maker of components for aircraft engines and the like, tracked in the aerospace defense group. And
Mhm.
what I like about Heico is disappointing that the breakout really didn't gain traction, but I like the way the stock has pulled back here and is just kind of firming up right at the 21-day line as it basically retests that prior pivot of 269.38. So you can see the stock closed at 269.07. Still watching this one. It's a pretty good position in the leaderboard model portfolio. We'll see if it can get going here, but wouldn't take much for this one to break out of this little mini downtrend that it's on.
Yeah.
Holding support at the 21-day line, but I think if it can get back above last week's high, maybe get a good up session, could even see another buy signal here. So another company, you can see the bottom line, top line growth, very, very strong. So fundamentals are important, and this is one of the fundamental leaders in the aerospace defense group. Still holding up well here, retesting a prior buy area. We'll see if it can get going.
Yeah. And I definitely could see how, you could get that mixed up with group peer Howmet because, they're both
Yeah.
in the same group, start with an H, and it's been a big leader. So,
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
yeah.
The group still ranks pretty highly, pretty much in the top 25% of all our industry group rankings. So still pretty good leadership in the aerospace defense group. And again, Howmet has been a big leader. HEI, like I said, still looking good here, and
Yeah.
we're going to hope that breakout can get going again.
Yes, especially with earnings due in a couple of weeks. We want it to get a little bit of traction,
A
ideally.
little bit of cushion, yeah. Not
Yeah.
next week, but the following week. So.
Mhm.
Busy week of earnings next week though for sure. We've got Oracle and Adobe and Broadcom. I mean, it's pretty quiet in terms of earnings. Retailers, we've got Costco, Ollie's Bargain Outlet. So some pretty strong price performers to look forward to next week.
That we do. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ken, as always. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Allie. See you. Well, I won't see you tomorrow, but have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. See you next week. And thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. That is it from us for today, but we will be back with more tomorrow morning on IBD Live, where we will be joined by special guest Viba Josh. She has been a top female performer in the US Investing Championship, and we really love the way that she looks at stocks in general, but also her strategy with leveraged index ETFs. So I'm really excited to pick her brain once again tomorrow as she joins us on the show. You can tune in as well, investors.com/IBD Live for all the details. We start 10 minutes before the opening bell. So we will see you then. And then we'll also see you right back here tomorrow with Mike Webster to wrap up the week. Bye now.